Welcome to our deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah,
This book, with excerpts in English and a Hindi translation,
right.
promises to shake up how we think about money. You ready to have your perspective flipped?
Absolutely. What's fascinating here is how Kiyosaki takes aim at the advice many of us have heard all our lives.
Oh, yeah.
Study hard,
Get good grades.
get a secure job.
Yeah.
He suggests this might actually set us up for financial struggle, not success.
It's like he's saying the traditional path is a recipe for ending up like his own dad.
Right.
Highly educated, but always struggling financially.
Yeah.
Instead, he points to his friend's dad, a successful entrepreneur, as a model for a different approach to money.
And that's where this concept of the rat race comes in.
Okay.
Imagine being on a treadmill, running as fast as you can, but never actually getting anywhere.
Oh, wow.
That's Kiyosaki's point. Many of us are trapped in this cycle of working for a paycheck, paying bills, and never truly getting ahead.
It's like we're all just hamsters on a wheel, right?
Exactly.
Working our tails off just to keep up with expenses.
Exactly. Kiyosaki paints a vivid picture of a couple working tirelessly their entire lives,
Oh, wow.
paying off debts, but then turning around and telling their kids to follow the same path.
Oh, no.
They think they're giving good advice, but they're actually perpetuating this cycle of financial dependence.
It makes you wonder, how do we break free from this rat race? What's the alternative to blindly following that well-worn path?
Kiyosaki's answer is surprisingly simple, yet profound. Master accounting and investing.
Huh.
He argues that understanding these two concepts is crucial for escaping the rat race.
Okay.
He uses a story about testing an educational game to illustrate this.
Okay.
The game simulated the financial world with an inner track representing the rat race and an outer track for those on the fast track of wealth.
Right.
He wanted to see how people would navigate this simulated financial world.
Okay, so what happened? Did people get it?
Here's where it gets really interesting. Kiyosaki observed that his 19-year-old daughter, who was still in school,
Okay.
quickly grasped the game's concepts, particularly accounting and investing.
Wow.
But seasoned professionals,
Yeah.
like business owners and computer programmers,
Yeah.
really struggle with these basic financial concepts.
That's wild. You'd think experienced professionals would have a good handle on finances.
Right.
What was Kiyosaki's takeaway from that?
It really drives home his point that traditional education often fails to equip us with practical financial skills.
Oh, interesting.
We might learn algebra, but how many of us were actually taught how to manage our own money?
It's like we're given the tools to build a house, but no blueprint on how to actually construct it.
You hit the nail on the head.
Right.
And Kiyosaki takes it a step further.
Okay.
He actually calls the traditional advice of go to school, get good grades, and find a safe, secure job the most dangerous advice you can give a child today.
Wow, that's a bold statement. It's like he's saying the very foundation of what we've been taught is flawed. But why does he consider this advice so dangerous, especially in today's world?
He compares it to playing a new game with old rules.
Oh, okay.
And in the ever-changing landscape of finance, that's a recipe for disaster. The old ways of thinking about money just don't cut it anymore.
So what's the alternative? How do we break free from these outdated rules and thrive in this new financial landscape?
Kiyosaki believes the key is developing what he calls financial IQ.
Okay.
It's about understanding how money really works,
Yeah.
taking calculated risks,
Right.
and building assets that generate income rather than simply trading time for a paycheck.
And that's where his emphasis on understanding the difference between assets and liabilities comes into play, right?
Absolutely.
It's something he talks about a lot throughout the book.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he argues that most people misunderstand these terms completely.
Right.
For Kiyosaki, an asset puts money in your pocket, while a liability takes money out. It's a simple distinction,
Yeah.
but it's incredibly powerful when you start looking at your finances through this lens.
It's like that aha moment when you realize that a house, which most people consider an asset, might actually be a liability
Right.
if it's constantly draining your income through mortgage payments, taxes, and endless repairs.
You've got it.
Yeah.
Kiyosaki challenges that deeply ingrained belief.
Yeah.
He wants us to think about our homes in terms of cash flow. Is it coming in or going out?
It's a completely different way of looking at things. So if understanding the difference between assets and liabilities is the first step, what comes next? How do we actually start building assets and escaping that dreaded rat race?
Kiyosaki stresses that financial knowledge is even more important than how much money you have to start with. He shares stories of acquiring real estate with little to no money down,
Right.
proving that it's not about starting capital,
Mm-hmm.
but about leveraging financial knowledge.
With no money down, that sounds almost impossible. How does someone even begin to learn how to do that?
That's the power of financial education.
Okay.
It's about understanding how money works,
Yeah.
how to identify opportunities,
Right.
and how to make smart investments.
Okay.
Kiyosaki is adamant that this knowledge is accessible to everyone, not just Wall Street gurus.
So it all comes back to building that financial IQ.
Yes.
It's not just about being good at math,
Right.
but about understanding the financial system and how to make it work for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kiyosaki believes that financial genius exists within each of us,
Okay.
but we need to nurture it. And a huge part of that is learning to master our emotions when it comes to money.
He talks about overcoming fear and greed, right? It's like those emotions can hold us back from making smart financial decisions.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Fear can prevent us from taking calculated risks,
Right.
while greed can lead to impulsive choices that could be disastrous in the long run.
Yeah.
He tells a story about turning down a high-paying job offer to focus on learning and building assets,
Wow.
which must have taken incredible discipline.
It's easy to get caught up in the allure of a big paycheck.
Right.
But he clearly saw the bigger picture, the importance of long-term financial freedom over short-term gains.
Absolutely.
It makes you wonder, how do we develop that kind of discipline and long-term vision? It's like trying to resist that tempting slice of cake when you're on a diet.
Right.
We all know long-term goals require discipline, but how do we apply that to something as complex as our finances?
Kiyosaki would say it starts with understanding that true wealth isn't about chasing paychecks, but about having money work for you.
Right.
He argues that most people work for money,
Yeah.
but the truly wealthy have their money working for them.
That's an interesting distinction. So how do we make that leap from working for money to having our money work for us? What's the secret?
Kiyosaki compares building wealth to constructing a skyscraper.
Okay.
You need a strong foundation, and in finance, that foundation is a solid base of assets that generate consistent cash flow.
And he has a great analogy for this, something about a 6-inch concrete slab versus the Empire State Building.
Exactly. He says that trying to build financial security on a traditional job is like building the Empire State Building on a 6-inch concrete slab.
Wow.
It's just not going to hold.
Right.
You need a stronger foundation, and that's where building assets comes in.
So it's not enough to just understand the difference between assets and liabilities. We need to actively build a portfolio of income-generating assets. But what kinds of assets is he talking about?
He emphasizes the importance of assets that generate passive income,
Right.
like rental properties,
Right.
businesses that don't require your constant involvement,
Okay.
or investments that pay dividends.
Okay, that makes sense.
He challenges the traditional view of homeownership,
Okay.
arguing that a large, expensive home might actually be a liability if it doesn't generate income.
That's a tough pill to swallow, especially in a culture that often equates homeownership with success. But his point about opportunity cost is really powerful. That money tied up in a house could be generating passive income if it were invested differently.
And speaking of things that drain our resources,
Yeah.
Kiyosaki is very critical of consumer debt,
Right.
particularly credit cards.
Yeah.
He sees it as a major roadblock to financial freedom.
You're right.
It's easy to fall into the trap of spending, accumulating debt, and then working even harder just to make those payments,
Oh, yeah.
all while neglecting to build those income-generating assets.
It's like we're stuck in that rat race we talked about earlier,
Exactly.
just trying to keep our heads above water.
Kiyosaki's message is clear. Reduce expenses, pay off debt, and focus on building assets that work for you, not against you.
And that's where financial education comes in, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's about equipping ourselves with the knowledge to make smart financial decisions.
Absolutely. Kiyosaki outlines a 10-step plan to awaken your financial genius,
Okay.
which includes finding a mentor, overcoming fear, and taking action.
Right.
He believes that financial literacy is the key to breaking free from the rat race and achieving true financial freedom.
Okay.
One of the most powerful steps in his plan,
Yeah.
and one that really resonated with me,
Okay.
is the idea of paying yourself first.
I love that concept. It's so simple yet so profound. Tell me more.
It's about shifting your mindset from paying everyone else first,
Oh, okay.
the bills, the rent,
Yeah.
the credit card companies,
Right.
to prioritizing your own financial well-being.
I like that.
It's about setting aside a portion of your income for savings, investments, or building your own business before paying anyone else.
It's like putting on your own oxygen mask first before helping others, right? You can't pour from an empty cup.
Precisely. It's about taking control of your financial destiny and creating a life where you're not living paycheck to paycheck,
Yeah.
but where your money is working hard for you,
Right.
even while you sleep.
That's the dream, isn't it? To have that financial security and freedom to pursue what truly matters to us.
And Kiyosaki believes it's a dream achievable by anyone who's willing to challenge conventional wisdom, invest in their financial education, and build a solid foundation of assets.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a powerful reminder that we all have the potential for financial genius within us.
It's up to us to awaken that genius and create the financial future we desire. Thanks for diving deep into these powerful ideas with us. We hope this deep dive has provided you with actionable insights and a fresh perspective on your own financial journey. Remember, financial freedom is within reach for everyone. It's time to start writing your own success story. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.